Hey everybody, welcome to this week's episode of Palm Tree Sports Radio. My name is Corey Pujols, your host, and as always, this is brought to you and powered by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Happy Sunday evening, you guys, and a special happy Sunday evening to all of my Gators out there. That's correct, baby. We did it. We put in the work, and we came out victorious against UConn today. We'll get into that and so much more about what happened and what happened to the Gators and what is in store for them next, guys. Of course, we're going to talk about the NBA and see what's going on with the Heat and the Magic. They're in two completely different places right now, and obviously the season is over, so we'll talk about that. We will also get into the MLB and talk about spring training between the Rays and the Marlins. And then, of course, we're going to wrap things up with the NHL with the Bolts and the Panthers and get into what I have for you guys coming out of Florida for hockey as well as all of the other sports. Keep it locked here for more of your Sunshine State needs here on True Sports Radio. Again, my name is Corey Pujols, your host, and as always, this is brought to you by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Welcome to Palm Tree Sports Radio, everybody. My name is Corey Pujols, your host, and as always, it's brought to you by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Guys, it is 9 p.m. Well, it's 9:04 p.m. Over here on the East Coast, on the south side of Brandon area, right outside of Tampa, Florida. And I'm super excited to come to you guys this evening with a great show, guys. A great show filled with happiness for a change. There's not a lot of negativity to talk about, and that always makes me happy as a Florida fan. But as I mentioned before, we will talk about the NBA, what's going on with the Heat and the Magic. We will go to the NCAA March Madness picture and talk about what went right at the Gators. That's going to be the bulk of our show, guys, and definitely the high point of the show, of course. Then we're going to go focus on spring training and just kind of go over what happened with the last game and then see what's going to happen next as the Rays are still continuing to play at George Steinbrenner Field, which is the Yankees practice field in the offseason, for those of you who do not know. And then we're going to wrap things up in the NHL before I send you guys on your way. But before we do that, let's go ahead and get into the chat real quick and see everybody that's in there. Larry B., good to see you, my friend. T-Rod, also good to see you. Hey guys, we're all here. That's all that makes me very, very happy. I will get into the NASCAR bit in a second, guys. But before I get into the rest of the show, let's go ahead and cover a couple of parts about the show. It's very important. So for those of you who are on social media, and it doesn't matter what social media that's going to be, if you are on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, etc. You can reach us at IE Sports Radio. That is at IE Sports Radio, and that is on all social media handles. Of course, whatever it is that you are on, you can find us there, and you can always find us talking sports. Literally, just a bunch of sports gurus that love to get into, everything. I mean, literally everything. Like I said, we're going to talk a little NASCAR as well for that matter. But, at IE Sports Radio is where you can find us on social media, guys. If you are looking for the umbrella to find us on all the shows, not just Palm Tree Sports Radio, but all the other shows, my apologies, like Fast Break, which I have on in the background here. You can find that at www.iesportsradio.com. Again, that is www.iesportsradio.com. That is the website, the umbrella. You can find all of the shows that we have to offer here underneath. And then, of course, wherever you get your podcast from, I listen to Apple Podcasts. So, but if that's not your thing, if you are on Spotify, if you are on Spreaker, if you are on Amazon, if you are on iHeartRadio, you can also find us at IE Sports Radio. And again, for my specific show, the handle is going to be Palm Tree Sports. So at IE Sports Radio for the website, and of course, all of your social media handles for the umbrella. And if you are looking for this specific show, again, at Palm Tree _IE, at Palm Tree _IE. Corey Pujols, at Pujols Corey. You can find me on Twitter. I'm on Instagram as well. Primarily those two, but I also dabble, just depending on what the situation is, what the conversation is. I'm always in and around all of IE Sports Radio's social medias as well. So come find me, come find us. Let's have a conversation, and don't be shy. Let's get into it, guys. So then with that being said, as we continue to move on, guys, let's go ahead and get to a message from our sponsors. And when I get back with you, we will go ahead and dive into everything that I have for you coming out of the Sunshine State. And as far as sports is concerned, guys, keep it locked here for a few moments.
IE Sports Radio fans, this show is brought to you by Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky. Planet Jerky is the official jerky of the 2022 California League champion Lake Elsinore Storm, single-A affiliate of the San Diego Padres. This all-brisket jerky has gluten-free options, contains no MSG, no sodium nitrate, is low in sugar, and high in protein. Go to their website at planetjerky.net and follow them on Instagram at Planet Jerky. Planet Jerky, the jerky that's on a whole other planet.
Hey there, IE Sports Radio fans. Be sure to check out our sponsor, Seal the Deal Wax Seals by Cecilia B. You just finished your very own wedding or baby shower invitations and you're looking for that extra special touch? Maybe you just wrote a letter to a relative or a friend and you want to add to their smile when they receive it. Then seal the deal with Cecilia's handmade sealing wax stamps for your invitations, letters, and gifts. You bring the deal, we'll bring the seal. You can find them on Instagram at sealthedeal_wax stamps and on Facebook, Seal the Deal Wax Seals.
Rise and shine. It's 4 a.m. The stars are still out. The sun is beneath the horizon, but it's time to punch in and go to work. The comfort of your warm-ups turns into the grinding out of your reps as the clinking and the clanking of the plates create a symphony of euphoria. There's no other feeling like it. Earn it, burn it, and take what's yours. IE Sports Radio has proudly partnered with Vital Apparel, a brand that not only fits great, but also promotes and donates to mental health research. Use our code IESR to get 15% off their comfortable and inspiring gym wear and help them on their amazing journey to support mental health. Go hard, take part in your iron therapy, and be strong. Because when your mental health is as strong as you are, there's no telling how far you'll go.
Welcome back to Palm Tree Sports Radio, you guys. My name is Corey Pujols, your host, and as always, is brought to you by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports, guys. Sorry if I was a little scatterbrained earlier. Obviously, got a few things going on at the moment, but I'm also keeping track of the Bolts game. The Panthers game did end. It did go to overtime, so I was following both of those as well, guys. And so we'll get into that and more. The Panthers did pull it out, but the Bolts are in trouble right now, guys. They're down 3-0, so we'll revisit that in a little bit. But first, I want to get into a few other things. I just want to let you guys know I'm keeping track of that. So first things first, guys, fact of the day for Sunshine State. So I would venture to tell you guys, and if you guys haven't really considered it, I'm going to throw a couple of names out here. I know you guys are like, you're talking in like backwards right now, Corey. What do you mean? So there's always a debate about what state produces the best talent. And I'm talking about football specifically. It's my favorite sport. So it's always the first thing that comes to mind. Now, across many sports, Florida is number one for talent. But in football, it's really, really special. I just want to name a couple of people who across different generations who were produced out of Florida. And I just want to give you some names because it's incredible to hear the names as they come out. So the first name I want to mention is Deion Sanders. If you guys didn't know, Deion Sanders went to Florida State University. Another player who gets not enough credit for the play that they, the linebacker play that they had on tape, and obviously as a leader on the defense, is Derrick Brooks. Derrick Brooks is set a defensive record for scoring 5 defensive touchdowns in a single season. Guys, I want you guys to think about that for a second. That's a linebacker. 5 defensive touchdowns. He accounted for 30, well, I was about to say 35, but it's 30 points. And that's absolutely incredible. It's unheard of, right? But then it's not just them, guys. Ray Lewis, Ed Reed, okay? There are some absolutely unbelievable names that have come out of Florida, but I kind of just wanted to sprinkle a little bit and remind you guys that when it comes to talent, guys, don't be surprised when you find out this person was born here in, Tampa, Ocala, Orlando, Miami, Tallahassee, Jacksonville, some of the Lakeland, just some absolute studs have come from all of those places. And it's one of the craziest things because I think when we watch the NFL and like Canadian Football League and all these other leagues, they only ever announce what college they went to, right? And Ohio State I hate Ohio State. Why did I say them first? Michigan, USC, Texas, FSU, Miami, University of Florida. We hear those names, right? We hear those names pretty often. But a lot of the time, those players actually went to high school here. They were born and raised here. And it's absolutely incredible. It's just Florida is such a hub. It's such a universal hub for sports in general. And to kind of bleed away from that part into another interesting fact, for those of you who watch pro wrestling, I had the amazing opportunity to meet Jay Lethal this past Saturday. He actually popped up at the shop that I play. I play TCG. I play Yu-Gi-Oh! In fact, competitively. I was there at a tournament. He just walks in, and it was absolutely incredible to see him. He's such a wrestling legend, and and also an incredible guy. Really, really nice guy. I got a picture with him. I should have uploaded it so I could show you guys, but great guy. Glad to meet him. Glad to see him. And if you guys ever, if you don't know who Jay Lethal is, if you guys have ever seen pro wrestling, and there's a meme where Ric Flair is saying woo back to somebody, and they keep saying it back and forth, right? This was during TNA. This was the Impact Zone in 2010-ish, 2008, somewhere between those years. And that was Jay Lethal. That was him. So incredible talent. Super glad to meet him. I also met Shaq Barrett at that same shop. In fact, I actually met Shaq Barrett in the same place. So really cool place. Universal hub. And then for those of you who did not know, you'll be surprised. A lot of the talent that you guys see on TV and playing for all of the different teams come right here from Florida. Of course, Texas and California, some other big ones, Pennsylvania. But I'm gonna rep my state. Speaking of repping my state, I got the Florida. This is the OG. This is from the 80s, guys. This is from before I was even born. Shout out to my dad for not being able to fit it anymore. But yeah, guys. So that's the fact of the day. More like just a synopsis of a fact, but you get the idea. In any case, so for tonight's show, we are going to visit, obviously, what's going on in March Madness, which is the fun thing. And so we're going to get into that in a second. But first, I want to talk about NASCAR, and then I'm going to go through the chat after that, just simply because NASCAR, I struggle to follow it sometimes. I have it on ESPN, but I don't actually have the channel for it, so I never actually get to like click on it and see it. And I don't pay for ESPN, guys. I'm not rich. Okay. So, but in any case, in NASCAR, Kyle Larson earns his 13th career victory and his first win of the season as he wins the Straight Talk Wireless 400 at Homestead, Miami today, guys. Homestead is actually gorgeous, for the record. If you guys ever get the chance to go down, it's just a little north of Miami Beach area, like closer to the border of the county, and it's absolutely stunning. It's a beautiful place. And I've been there twice before. So, I just want to put that out there for all my traveling fanatics. But, winning that Straight Talk Wireless 400 was actually massive for him. Like you said, it was the first win of the season for him. And so, congratulations there to Kyle. And we'll see what happens in the next race. But that's always a fun one down there. And the weather was just gorgeous today. Oh, my God. What a day to be doing anything sports related it was today. I want to say it was like, when I got up, it was like 45. By like 10:30, it was 69, like 70 degrees right there. And then it jumped into the 80s for a little bit. So we were out there, t-shirt, shorts. Beautiful day, guys. So T-Rod, like I said, good to see you, my friend. Yeah, man. Yeah. We were, my dad and I were actually watching the second half of the game during family time, because we do family time every Sunday. And they're like, keep it down. And we're like, we can't. We're beating UConn. We beat UConn. And so, yeah, it's super exciting. Brian, it's good to see you. Yes, sir. Speaking of Yu-Gi-Oh! Wrestling, did you see The Rock and Cody? So I really, really am digging this Netflix era, this Triple H era of WWE. I'm just a pro wrestling fan in general, guys. And I grew up on it, Dad and I just kind of grew up on it. And I have to say, this is some entertaining stuff because it's all crazy, right? Like, there are a lot of people who are losing their mind about Cena turning heel, and I'm just like, nah, I dig it. I want him to go all the way heel, though. I kind of want him to go like Randy Orton, like just like, no, I'm a bad guy, and just like, But no, it's absolutely incredible what they're doing. I can't wait to see what happens at Mania. I actually just can't wait to see what happens Monday night, and so I'm looking forward to seeing that. But yeah, absolutely incredible storyline they have going on there. And I would like Cena to break the record, but if he doesn't, oh well, it's all good. I mean, he still has 16, right? So, but yeah, those are my thoughts on that. But all right, guys, so let's go ahead and get into it, right? So we're gonna start in the NBA. I'm not gonna wear the NFL out until it gets here, guys. You guys know how I am. I don't want to stress about it if it's not here. I want to focus on what's here. And plus, we've already talked about all the big free agency deals. The Bucks do have their eyes on a couple of people. Same thing with the Dolphins and the Jaguars. But the Dolphins don't like they're going to do too much more. I don't think they really can do too much more. And I think that has a lot to do with, kind of focus on re-signing some guys. The Jaguars are the Jaguars, guys. I'm going to be honest with you. That team frustrates me. They've always frustrated me, even when I like them, right? So, but right now I don't like the way that this team is trending. I don't like the poaching. I don't like the culture. I don't really like any of it right now. On contrary to that, what Tampa Bay is doing right now is just absolutely incredible. And shout out to Baker Mayfield for putting his spirituality out there on the line. For those of you who saw that, I think it's a massive thing whenever somebody can speak their truth and in their life and know that, it's not just them, that, they do it for family, and they also do it to the Most High. I'm also a spiritual guy. So, but that's, neither here or there. Just want to touch on that real quick. But for the Heat, who are we going to talk about right now? Well, so this team is probably the worst team in Florida right now. All right. I'm going to be 100% honest with you. of all the teams that are doing anything in the state of Florida, okay, the Heat are the worst right now. I don't know what's wrong with them, but I can tell you that it's not going to get fixed. Not anytime soon, I don't think. There's going to be a lot of changes that take place during this offseason. There are going to have to be a lot of changes that take place in this offseason. And if you're wondering why that's the case, well, the truth to the matter is they've lost 10 in a row. Okay. All this, sometime after the JB situation, which he does return to Miami actually tomorrow, I believe it is. No, he returns to Miami Tuesday. But the last time I saw it, in fact, the Heat were beating the Hornets, okay? I'm going to figure out if they won or not real quick. Give me 1 second. Yeah, so they won. They won 122-105. So congratulations on snapping the 10-game losing streak. But you beat the Hornets. The Hornets have 18 wins on the season. This is probably one of the few teams that's actually performing worse than Miami is at the moment, which is pretty typical for Charlotte, right? Let's be honest. If we're basketball fans, if we're NBA fans, they're kind of like what would be a good NFL team to compare them to? Like just a team that's just perpetually bad. I mean, I don't know. They're just terrible. That's all I can tell you. They're just freaking terrible. They just kind of remind me of maybe the Jaguars over the last so many years, if you take away that year that they had that tremendous defense and Leonard Fournette at running back, because if it wasn't for those two things, they wouldn't have made it to the playoffs. But yeah, I mean, I guess I can't even say that because the Hornets don't make the playoffs. The point is they beat a bad team. Okay. One bad team beat another bad team. 122-105 to score that ball game, like I mentioned before. The Heat record to who it may concern is 29-41, and that just went to 30-41, so they're -11. Like I said, they beat up a team that has a terrible record as well. 18 wins, 52 losses for the Hornets, increased that 5-2 to a 5-3. Nothing really impressive to write home about here. They should have won that game. They should have won the last game against the Hornets, which they lost as well. Very frustrating time to be a Heat fan right now. Even when they play good basketball, it doesn't last long. Transition is messy. Defense at times is good, but let's be honest, it really hasn't been since JB left. It hasn't been consistent at all. Offensively, I mean, when they score, they score. When Tyler goes off, Tyler goes off. When Bam gets in the paint and dominates, he gets in the paint and dominates. But for the most part, they can't carry. And that's really the truth to the matter about what's going on here with this team. The next game, like I mentioned before, JB is going to be returning with the Warriors to Miami. That's going to be Tuesday, March 25th at 7:30 p.m. I should be watching that game. I don't think I have anything else on a Tuesday evening to do that's going to soak up that time. So I should be watching that game. And so I'll be able to hopefully tell you what the emotion was like, coming back from that game. But realistically speaking, there has been little to no emotion coming out of Miami. Like I said, that 10-game losing streak was just – it was nasty. And like I said, you're losing to I mean, obviously you're losing to the Rockets and you losing to the Cavs, but losing to I don't know, losing to Charlotte just feels like there's kind of no hope there. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, they got that dub back, but they're still -11. They're in 10th place in the East. They're not going anywhere. The Magic have a better shot. Obviously, that's the better team in the NBA as far as the state of Florida is concerned. So, but yeah, that's about it, guys. The JB's going to return to Miami. We'll see how that goes. I'm fully suspecting that the Warriors are going to put a thumping on this team. I think it's an emotional game for JB, even though he said it's just another game. And that was a quote by him during an interview when they were asking him how he felt about returning to Miami. He feels like it's just another game. I suppose in his shoes, I'd feel the same way. But realistically speaking, the emotion is going to be all on the Warrior side. I don't know. But I said it last week. I'm going to say it one more time. The Heat's season cannot end soon enough. I mean, that is just the truth to the matter about this team, guys. Marcus, it's good to see you, my friend. I'm back in the chat for those of you who did not who didn't catch me there. My bad. Marcus, it's good to see you, my man. Glad to have you in the show this evening. Hell yeah. T-Rod, the Panthers. Yeah. The Panthers are that's a great choice, actually, because you take away Cam Newton and, like you said, that Panthers team was bad, man. And see, I can't really say Tampa Bay, right? Because, there was a period of time where Tampa Bay couldn't make it to the playoffs, but they were still winning, right? Like there were times where they were double-digit wins in the season. They didn't make the playoffs, right? In fact, I think that what year was that? What 2011 was it? Josh Freeman was at quarterback. You guys remember Josh Freeman? Y'all remember him? Vincent Jackson, Mike Williams, God bless his soul. He passed away. For those of you who didn't know, Mike Williams had actually passed away during a construction incident. That was so sad. Who else was on that team? They had a really good defense. Aqib Talib was on defense at that time. There were some stuff. Rondé Barber was still playing. Yeah, he was still playing. So yeah, I mean, there was a period. There was definitely a period. I mean, either one of those teams for those periods would work. I would even say the Browns after like the 90s, they struggled a lot in the early 2000s. Like, yeah, they struggled. Like, they didn't make the playoffs after like 2002 or something like that, or 2001. They hadn't like made the playoffs for like 15 years or something. It was crazy stat, right? Crazy stat. So yeah, guys, but that's the Heat. Like I said, the end of the season cannot come fast enough for them. But the Magic guys. So they're neg 5, right? So they are 33 and 38. They've got a lot of work to do. I don't know. Look, I hope they make the playoffs. I believe in them. I believe they can make the playoffs. But I have to admit, sitting at an 8 right now is not where you want to be at this time. I mean, you got to climb up a little bit. Like, let's think about it for a second. A lot of the time we see these 8s come in here and they just don't last long, right? Like, let's just call it like what it is. They come in, they don't last long. I mean, on average, of course, we do see those teams every now and again. They just go on a thunderous run, but we're not talking about a team that's been particularly healthy and a team that has been able to really keep the continuity. Those are the two concerns for the Magic that I have. With that being said, again, 33 and 38 be their record. They're still playing relatively good basketball. They did beat the Wizards. Bad team. I get it. 15 and 55 Wizards, bad team, but they did win their ball game 120-105, which is massive. That was on Friday. All right. And the next game is going to be against the Lakers. Lakers playing good basketball. They've been up and down a little bit, right? You know, LeBron's been a little injured. Luka missed they both missed the game at one point in time. But Luka is just magical, right? Pun intended. I'm a huge Luka fan. I was a fan of his when he was in Dallas. I'm a fan of his in LA. I'm a Laker fan as well. I love wherever LeBron plays ball, and you know he's always called LA home one way or another. But you know, for him to play there, I know is massive for him and also for that culture and that franchise. With that being said, Luka is the guy. Like he is so magical that his skill set is like incredible. I mean, I want to give you a different word that wasn't so generalistic, but realistically speaking, I can't give you one. The guy's absolutely incredible. Watching him play basketball is incredible. And I think that's one of the things that we're going to see in this Magic game is it doesn't really matter how good defense you play in the paint because Luka doesn't need the paint. I mean, the paint helps, right? But he's shown that beyond the arc that he can score, which is also where the Magic struggled to defend from. KCP came and helped, and the defense is good. They do have good defense. I'm not saying they don't, but I am saying that when you're dealing with somebody who has basically unlimited range, somebody who has the ball sense similar to that of a young LeBron, and a guy that can score at will with a team that's rallying and developing this chemistry and continuity as they have been doing, I have to admit, it has been impressive. When LeBron comes back, that team is going to be scary. The question is, can the Magic keep up? I think the answer is yes, because LeBron is not playing. To my knowledge, he's not playing that game. And so they're just going to have to contend with Luka. And the ball, you guys know how it goes. Looks, you don't stop Luka, stop the others, right? Like there's two ways to play basketball, right? You can dominate or you can pick your shots. And if you can't dominate, that's what you got. You got to pick your shots. You got to let, put somebody on Luka, hope he messes up, on his own. But aside from that, don't put all your eggs in one basket. Don't, make somebody else beat you. Right? Make somebody else beat you. And you can't always do that by putting, doubling up on Luka. I mean, obviously it works sometimes, but realistically, like I said, this guy doesn't need the paint. And whenever you have a player like that, I always say, let him get his and stop everybody else around him. Because, unless the guy scores 120 points by himself, and we've never seen that. We've seen 100, but we haven't seen 120. So that's where I put my money at. That's what I've seen work as well. And unless you have two really elite defenders, then double them, right? Like if you have two elite defenders, sure, but I don't know how confident I would feel doing that. That's just my thought process on it. But it's gonna be a great game. That game is gonna be, like I said, Monday. Monday, March Excuse me, my apologies. It's tomorrow, so it's Monday, March 24th. But it's on at 7 p.m. I should be watching that game. SmackDown or Raw doesn't start until 8. So yeah, I should be watching that game for about an hour, and I'll be flipping back and forth between the two. And then to who it may concern, they're 2-2 in their last 4. And I say that to say, again, this team does this every year where they beat the best team in the East and then they lose to like a team that's not the best team in their conference. And so that was something that actually happened recently. They did beat the Cavs 108-103. The Cavs are currently first place in the East, and I think they have the best record in the NBA at the moment. It's either them or OKC. One of them had the best record for sure. But it's 57-14 be the record for the Cavs. And like I said, they're playing tremendous basketball with the Spider and all those boys in Cleveland. And, the Magic were able to win that game. So it goes to show that the Magic can win. The question is, can they put it together and can they beat the other teams? Because right after they beat them, they lost to the Rockets. Rockets were playing great basketball, but, if you could beat the Cavs, you should be able to beat the Rockets. So we got to put those wins together. You got to put those tough chaining wins together, and that's what's going to propel you in the playoffs. If you can't do it, it's a first-round exit. So that's kind of where I'm going with that. And hopefully the Magic can, make some adjustments and they can, start chaining victories, because – I don't want to see this team on a first round exit. I just feel like they've come so far in the last 2.5, almost 3 years now. And for them to have another first round exit would just be kind of heartbreaking for the Magic. And I think that they have the talent. You have KCP, Franz Wagner, you have Paulo Banchero, just so many studs on this team. A very young team. Okay. Very, very young team. So there's a lot of upside, but they've got to play it. They have to play that way, and I'm always saying it from that perspective because I can't imagine the shoes that they're in right now. Like I said, this is a team that has what it takes, all right? But they got to put it all together. Guys, let's get into our first break of the evening. When we get back, we'll jump back into the chat, and then we'll get into college basketball, and I will get on fire about the Florida Gators and their victory against UConn, and then we'll wrap things up with the MLB and the NHL, guys. Keep it locked here for Palm Tree Sports and all of your Sunshine Sports needs, guys. My name is Corey Pujols, your host, and as always, it is brought to you and powered by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. We'll be back to you in 2 minutes.
Hello, ladies and sinners. Hello, sports fans around the world. Hello, IE Sports family. This is Cale Henderson, the host of IE Vegas, the Sin City Sports Show, presented by IE Sports Radio. If you folks are interested in sports in the Vegas area, if you're wanting to have a blast for 1 hour, every Tuesday night from 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time to 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, this is a show built for the Vegas sports fans, where we feature the Las Vegas Raiders, the Las Vegas Golden Knights, the Las Vegas Aces, and the University of Las Vegas, Nevada Rebels. Hopefully, fingers crossed, MLB team coming soon. Either way, if you folks are looking to have a blast for 1 hour each and every week, tune in Tuesday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time to 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you folks are interested in Vegas sports news, go to our Twitter at SinCities_IESR, and you can speak with me, the host, Cale Henderson, at Cale_Henderson on Twitter at any time. Be happy to reply. Always want to reach out to our fans. Again, the Sin City Sports Show, presented by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
And just like that, we are back, guys, with Palm Tree Sports Radio. So before we jump into the Gator bit, first things first, back to the chat we go. Brian says, you don't want to play my Celtics. They win with most of their guys. Here's the thing. I'm an LA guy, but Boston has always – they've just always been a phenomenal NBA city and team. All right. Nothing but respect for that franchise. I will say that the Orlando Magic play the Celtics very hard, and they have come away with some very impressive victories against the Celtics before. I would agree that most teams do not want to see your Celtics, which is why they are always in the Eastern Conference Finals, if not the NBA Finals. But I do know that this young team is like just imagine the Celtics as like a fire-breathing dragon. This is the night that one soldier that just doesn't have any fear, not concerned about what's about to happen simply because they already assume that it's going to happen. And I think that helps the Magic in that head-to-head and the head-to-heads that they have had over the last 2 years, because again, I think a lot of this really started when they were able to win back-to-back games against the Celtics, and I feel like that's when they really start to feel themselves, and as a result, now we're seeing the success of this team. So, but I would agree with you, most teams, in fact, do not want to see the Celtics at all, in the playoffs, and but the Magic, hey, I got faith in my team. Well, my dad's team. I'm technically a Heat guy when it comes, but I love both of these teams. I'm in Florida. How can I not love them both? But I've always been slightly more of a Miami guy than a Orlando guy. But we're gonna celebrate the Magic still, nonetheless. That's what we're gonna do on this show, baby. And speaking of celebratory, guys, I think that it is time for us to also celebrate the boys in the blue and orange. We did this last week. I think we're going to do it again this week because this is another monumental. But for all of my Florida fans out there, why don't you guys get your drinks out? Why don't you go ahead and get whatever it is that you're sipping on right now? Right now, I'm sipping on same thing from last week, Terramana. Big Rock fan, still a big Rock fan. But it's always a situation like this that calls for a celebration. And so we're going to have one, and we are going to toast the Florida Gators on a magnificent victory against a very tough foe, against a team that actually ended the Florida Gators 2022 campaign in the Sweet 16, in fact, and a team that has won back-to-back national championships, and that team would be UConn. So, to my Florida Gators, I will toast you guys. Boom! And I need a chaser because that goes down. A little rocky. Hold on one second, you guys. Let me put this on the charger. Oh man. A little housekeeping right here. I don't want the laptop to die on the show. Now, like I said, we're celebrating. We are so excited for this team and what they were able to accomplish. Like I said, UConn actually ended Florida's 2022 campaign. Florida has, over the last 25 years, been an absolutely sensational basketball program. We've always been a great football program. We've always been a great track and team and also a gymnastics program. But the basketball program really, really came alive over the last 25 years. Billy Donovan, obviously, was just amazing here at Florida, right? We can never forget Billy Donovan. But now Todd Golden is just absolutely stunning right now as our head coach. This guy is coaching at an extremely high level. He's got so much energy, so much passion, so much direction, and a lot of brain power to go with it. And we're starting to see that here with the University of Florida. You pair that with maybe the best 3-guard lineup in the country, and you get this destructive, this beautiful, this symphony, this supernova of a basketball team. And when I say supernova, I mean it every phase of the way, because it's not just our guards. Alex Condon is just absolutely phenomenal. He's playing tremendous basketball. His presence on the inside is becoming more and more felt after each and every game. I am so excited about the future of this team. And when I say future, I mean the immediate future, guys. So let's get into it real quick. The stats both for themselves. The Florida Gators rank 1, number 4 of the rank 1s, but still a rank 1. They go to UConn, or they play UConn, I should say. UConn rocking a 24-11 record. The Gators rocking a now 32-4 record. The Gators win this game 77-75. So there were quite a few things that happened during this show. What a game today. One of the best basketball games I watched all year. Yes, I agree. And I'm glad that I read that when I did, because I was actually going to get into it. I was going to say this game was absolutely phenomenal. The biggest issue I had with the game was actually the referees. I really felt like the referees were just doing too much at times. I think that especially at the end of the game, we knew that there was going to be contact. We knew that there would be free throw, but it kind of felt like it was happening at such a, come on now, guys, kind of way that they were just calling contact. Like, it could have been a shoelace, and they were calling it. You see what I'm saying? And that's the point that I'm trying to make. I kind of hate to see that, but at the half, it was tied 31-31. At a couple of points in the game, UConn had the lead, and it was completely giving Florida problems. This team were hitting. They wouldn't go away. They hit all the big shots that they needed to hit to stay into the game. The Gators just ever so intuitive and very, very spacious with the ball. They were moving the ball around a lot, having their bigs high on the arc just to create space down the lane so that the wings would fall flat and give Walter Clayton Jr. and, of course, Elijah Martin their clean shots, in which they did, and it worked. But like I said, UConn would not go away with 2 minutes and change left on the clock. We watched Florida open up a 3-possession lead, which got cut down almost to 1 possession, back to 2 possessions, and with little time on the clock, going under that 2-minute warning, Walter Clayton takes the handoff at the top of the key, goes right side towards baseline, stops middle, jab, step, and loses one defender as he was being double covered. And, the other guy's hand down, man down. Old rules of basketball still apply. He hits that rainbow of a shot. He came up absolutely massive, especially in that second half, scoring 15 points in that second half, 8 in the first to give him a total of 23, 3, and 1 for his stat total. Elijah Martin also scored 18 points, and Will Richard scored 15 points. The three-headed monster that is the Florida backcourt is still the best in the country, in my opinion, and they demonstrated that again by knocking off the 2-time defending NCAA basketball national men's basketball champions, and also the team who ended their 2022 campaign. So congratulations to the Florida Gators on a tremendous win. I am going to finish this real quick before we continue moving forward. Man, oh man. If my dad was here, he would say, it's great to be a Florida Gator. Indeed, it is great to be a Florida Gator, guys. Now, the Gators clinched a sweet 16th berth with this victory over UConn. The team that they're going to play was to be determined at this point. I will go ahead and see if that game actually ended and if we know who the Gators are going to play. Yes, we do. Maryland hit the game winner in their game to upset Colorado. That's absolutely incredible. So we are going to have number 1 Florida, or rank 1 Florida, I should say, because they're not number 1 overall. I still think that they got robbed of that, and I'm still disappointed in the fact that they didn't get it, but that's neither here or there. Rank 1 Florida is going to be taking on rank 4 Maryland. That game is going to be Thursday, March 27th. Get ready for that. That's going to be a good game. This is going to be a team that the Florida Gators cannot afford to sleep on if they want to get into the Elite Eight, and they're going to have to focus just as they did against UConn. They're going to have to make bigger, better plays. This is a Maryland team that just will not die when they're pushed. They've played tremendous basketball, especially here in the second part of the year, and I think that this is a team that the Florida Gators are going to have to take just as seriously as they took UConn. However, I do acknowledge that they may not be as gifted as UConn has been over time. And with that, what I mean by that is perhaps this Florida Gators team can take advantage of the fact that this team is not UConn and find success in that. The Gators have no problem playing big games, but they do have problems playing big teams that they've lost to before. Okay, that is the only concern that I have. And I'm not saying that obviously the Gators didn't lose to Maryland, but I don't want the Gators to sleep on this team. And that's where I'm concerned. Hopefully the Gators don't do that. And they come out and this team is firing on all cylinders. Hopefully our boys have a big game. Again, Richard, Condon, Martin, Clayton Jr., just hopefully those boys go out there and they ball and they go crazy, and Todd Golden has those boys, check down where they need to be. Now, Walter Clayton Jr. has been sensational. We know this. The question is, how long will it last? I think it lasts all the way. I think the Gators win the national championship. However, he is going to be the determining factor. Let's not act like we don't know this. Walter Clayton Jr. is one of the best men's college basketball players currently out. All right, I don't care. You talking Tennessee, Auburn, Duke, great teams. Love that. I'm putting my guy up against all of yours. I'm I have my faith in my guy. Walter Clayton Jr. has unlimited range. He's the Steph Curry of college basketball. The guy can hit all the shots beyond the arc. In the paint, he's just as gifted. But man, it's something special to be able to witness something like this at this time, at this young man's career as well, because he's got this whole NBA career ahead of him, and I cannot wait to see what happens moving forward for him. But like I said, he's absolutely sensational, and in that second half of 15 points and hitting that big three to more or less put Florida in cruise control for the rest of the game. Hopefully the referees can kind of back off a little bit and let them continue to play ball. And, the next game against Maryland is going to be that's going to be a great game, and I can't wait to watch it again. That is going to be Thursday, March 27th. Time is still to be determined, so, just keep your eyes open for that time, see when it drops, all right, guys? Now, I've been passively keeping up with the Lightning game. They did score a goal. All right. So they're trying to do something. 40 seconds left before the second period. They did score a goal. It is now 3-1 Golden Knights over the Lightning. And I will keep you guys updated as we continue to move on. But next up, we do have Rays baseball to talk about. So baseball, guys, we're in spring training. You guys know how that goes. And like I said, the Rays still have not come to a resolution for their stadium. But as I mentioned last week, if you guys missed my show last week, I did mention that I actually did have a conversation with the mayor. I was part of the conversation the mayor was having, rather, I should say. And she did mention that the MLB has contacted the city and the state. They do want the Tampa Bay Rays here in Tampa Bay. Excuse me. They do want the Tampa Bay Rays here in Tampa Bay. However, there is still St. Petersburg, which is where the Rays are currently playing in Tropicana Field. And then Orlando is also trying to put some type of financial package together to try and acquire the team or the city of Orlando. Of course, it would still be the Rays for the most part. I don't think anything else would change other than the city that they play in. But realistically, the MLB does want Tampa Bay to host the Rays in all of their games moving forward. So we're still waiting to see how that plays out. The state and the city are both working diligently with the MLB and, of course, with the city of Tampa to try and find the space for it. And that's really what the main issue is for us, is we just don't have the space. I've been in Tampa my whole life. Brandon is essentially Tampa 1.5. It's essentially the same thing. The reason why I'm saying that, though, is because it's so packed down there. It's like South LA. You know what I mean? It's like New York. It's like little New York, to be honest with you, in Tampa. And it's one of those things that they're trying to find the space, but again, there's just no space. So we'll see what they decide to do. I say put it on USF. I know that sounds ludicrous, but especially if you're from the city, for any of my Tampa folk that are in the show, I know you guys are like, why would you do that? The simple answer is there's space. It's not a great answer, but it's the simple answer, because realistically speaking, we don't have it just about anywhere else. We just don't. So if they want to go back to St. Pete, I'm also on board with that. I could be okay with that. But that's just me. I don't think everybody feels that way, right? I think we want our big three here. We do have Raymond James Stadium, which is right off of Dale Mabry in MLK. And, of course, we have Lightning, or the Bolt Stadium, which is Amalie Arena. Amalie Arena is in downtown Tampa. I actually work down there quite often. So, always get to see Amalie. Been to Amalie countless times for many different things, including 98 Rock Fest. For those of you who like 98 Rock Fest, I have the t-shirt somewhere around here. But 98 Rock Fest, absolutely incredible. Comes to Amalie every year. We have Monster Jam. We host the motorbike and the races, not just the rallies, but the races too. Just so many different things. It's absolutely incredible. And I think that they want to keep that same presence, but for baseball in the city. And I can't blame them for doing that. So, but that's per the mayor. Moving forward, again, we still don't know, but fingers crossed that the deal gets done hopefully sometime soon. But as for the game that was played today, they did tie with the Yankees 3-3 in spring training. It's almost like it was like a thank you for letting me use your field. You're welcome. Use it whenever. George Steinbrenner Field is where the Yankees play their practice games, or spring games and practice games. This is the Yankees' second home down here. For those of you who do not know, New Yorkers and Floridians are essentially the same. I'm not even going to lie to you. At this point, they're essentially the same. There's just like a northern dialect and a southern dialect, and there's a whole bunch of pretentious people and a whole bunch of good people and a whole bunch of just you name it, it's there. North, south, it's the same thing, essentially, guys. It's the same freaking thing. But like I said, that score was a tie, 3-3. Next game is going to be against the Phillies. That's tomorrow at 12:35 p.m. I'll tell you, the start times for these games are like, did you guys just roll dice and just decide you're going to go with each number that popped up on the die for your start time for these games? I'll tell you what, but Yeah, 12:35 start time for that game against the Phillies. Spring training still, again, first regular season game happens in 5 days, March 28th. So still got a ways to go. But in the meantime, between time, let's enjoy the spring training. Let's enjoy these games that don't mean anything. And hopefully our teams continue to stack this experience and hopefully W's too. Not in the case of the Bolts. They're not playing very well here in spring training. Well, they're back and forth. But a team that is playing pretty well during spring training, or has been, I should say, they didn't play well today, but the team that has been playing pretty well is the Marlins throughout spring training. Now, they lost to the Mets, all right, 10-2. That's a beatdown, even for spring training. But it's spring training. You'd rather it be now and not then. 10-2 rough game is what it is. It's the Mets. Next one. And speaking of the next one, they're going to see the Yankees as the Yankees continue their tour through Florida. And that'll be a fun game, Marlins and the Yankees. Tuesday, March 25th, 1:10 p.m. start time for that game. A little bit less conspicuous start time for that game. Looking forward to seeing what happens in both of these games. I will be at work during both of them, so I will keep them up on my ESPN, and I'll check the notifications as much as I can, but unfortunately I won't be able to watch it. I will be working. So, but with that being said, good luck to both of our teams. Good luck to actually technically all three of our teams, right? Since technically the Yankees are down here right now. And yes, Mom, still doing right by your Yankees. Still doing right. My mom's a New Yorker. She's a Yankee fan. So she's a Mets fan too, actually. Let me not actually just say that like she's not, like she only likes the Yanks. She's also a Mets fan, so I know she was happy about the Mets beating the Marlins today. But yeah, so like I said, spring training, March 28th, start time for regular season baseball. But right now, they're just getting some swings in. So that's what I have for you for baseball, guys. Let's go ahead and get into the last bit of info I have for you this evening, which is coming out of the NHL, guys. Now, this is where it's getting really, really interesting, okay? I love the fact that both of our Florida teams are in the exact same division here. And the reason why I love it is because they're fighting for first place. And I'm talking about there's 2 games that's separating these 3 teams, okay? I know there's only 2 hockey teams in Florida. There's a third team, the Maple Leafs, who are also in the discussion for first place in the Atlantic. So, yeah, Bolts are playing pretty decent hockey. They're 3-1 in their last 4. If you take away this game, the way that they're performing, they've been playing very, very well. Their record is sitting at 40-24-5. That is 40-24-5. They did lose to Utah in their last game, 6-4. So they really should be 41-24-5, but they're 41-23-5, but yet no such thing. They are playing the Golden Knights right now. Like I said, the score of that game right now is 3-1. At the end of the second period, we got one more period to go. Let's see how our boys, if they close it out here, they're going to need to find something here and at least force OT and try to take it out there. But yeah, I mean, so far so good. That game started at 8, so it'll be still going on by the time I finish this show, guys. So unfortunately, I won't be able to give you the end result. But I encourage you guys, just go look it up. Go get prepared for that score. Currently, all of these games have seriously high implications right now. Every win matters because, like I said, there's two games separating 3 teams right now from first to third. And obviously, you want to be in the best case scenario. So to be in best case scenario, we're going to need the Bolts to string it up. They're going to have to start with a win here against the Golden Knights. I know that's a rough team. I know the team is very, very solid. They have been solid for about the same amount of time as Tampa has been. But realistically, if they're going to want to pull this out, again, it's the same thing with all the other teams here in Florida. They're going to have to win the big games. They're going to have to win them. And so this would be considered a big game in my opinion, especially since the Panthers won earlier today, right? So the next game is going to be against the Penguins. That's Tuesday, March 25th, 7 p.m. There's a bit going on Tuesday, March 25th, 7 p.m., isn't there? But that's good. I mean, that usually means that there's a lot to be a part of. There's a lot to enjoy. And if you're a sports fan like I am, that's what you do. You flip through the channels and just have it. And that's what I do. I flip through the channels. What I also like to do is I will pull the game up here on my laptop. I'll have a game on the TV, and then I will have either be following a game or like I am right here, following this game here on Google or ESPN app. Just depends which one. But for me, Google is a little bit easier right here. So I'm going to use Google. But just to kind of give you an idea of how I do things, that's how I keep track of all these different games at one time. And so with that being said, the next game, like I said, versus the Penguins, that's Tuesday, March 25th, 7 p.m. And so if you want to check out this Bolts hockey, that's going to be your chance to do it on a Tuesday evening, guys. Like I said, 3-1 over the last 4. They're 2 games behind second and first place. They're sitting at third in the Atlantic right now, behind the first place Panthers, second place Maple Leafs, and then, of course, like I said, Tampa Bay. They're playing tremendous hockey, but they got to win these tough games. Hey, the old man made it. I'm glad you made it, Dad. Don't even worry about the rest of it. I completely understand. I'm just glad you made it. And as you said, hey, I said it earlier. I'm gonna say it one more time. with the stuff on here. I said it's great to be a Florida Gator, and that's always. All right, that's always. Now, Panthers hockey. It was looking a little sketch there. I ain't going to lie against the Penguins. It was looking a little sketch there. All right, so for the stats both for themselves, the Panthers rocking a 42-25-3 record, one game better than the Maple Leafs. And then the Penguins rocking a 24-32-10 record. And the Panthers were losing 3-2 inside that third period, but they were able to force overtime and then take it away in overtime. 4-3 is a score of that puck game there. Great game played by the Panthers. A lot of resiliency showed there at the end of the game, and a big W for them to come back and win. Their next game is going to be against Utah as the Bolts and Panthers flip two of their three opponents with each other. That game against Utah is going to be Friday, March 28th at 7 p.m. So the Panthers are getting themselves a little break. They need it. They've played one more game other than the Lightning have. So, like I said, it's just a rest game for them. Or a rest week, I should say, before this next game, and they're going to need it. They're 1-3 in their last 4. You can make that 2-3 in their last 5. The struggles, I wouldn't call them necessarily struggles. I would just say that they're doing what they need to do to make sure that they're preserving their spot, 1, and 2, resting their players. I know it doesn't seem like they're resting too much, but this is a team that has a lock on the playoffs, okay? I've said this a couple of weeks ago. The Stanley Cup still goes through Florida. That hasn't changed, and the Panthers are Stanley Cup defending champs. It doesn't matter how you feel about them. They're still defending champs. And with 2 of your last 3 defending champs coming out of Florida, the Stanley Cup truly still does go through Florida, and the Panthers are still the best team in the Atlantic. Like I said, 2-3 over their last 5 games. Hopefully they can make that 3-3, get to 500, and just continue to win moving forward. Same thing with the Bolts. To see this team continue to stack W's. 3-1 over their last 4 is looking pretty good, but now it's 3-2 over their last 5. They're going to need to perform better than that if they're going to find some success moving forward, guys. But with that being said, guys, on this evening, right? Like I said, I'll continue to follow the Bolts game. It's still 3-1 into the second. We'll talk about more of that next week on next week's episode of Sports Radio. But until then, I want to say thank you so much for joining me. I know we were kind of all over the place for a little bit, but don't worry, we're going to keep it all Florida for you. Keep it all Florida. Good luck to the Lightning. Good luck to all of our teams that are playing on Tuesday, including the Bolts, the Magic, not the Magic, I apologize, not the Magic, but the Heat. The Magic will be playing Monday night, and of course the Rays and the Marlins playing Monday and Tuesday respectively. So good luck to all those teams as we head into the week. Good luck to you guys as you guys start your work week. Hug your loved ones, drink water, stay hydrated, please. It's starting to get hot out there. Well, I don't know where you're at, but it's getting hot out here for us, so stay hydrated. And until next time, guys, it's been my pleasure. My name is Corey Pujols, your host, and as always, we're brought to you by IE Sports Radio. You're ready for all that sports, guys. I will see you guys same time, same place next week. Take care.